Hello and welcome, everyone. What's going on? We have an absolute banger of an episode for you today. Tyler J. French. What a legend. When I talk to this guy, I just feel like creativity is oozing out of his skin. Just straight oozing, getting all over everything. Creativity just flows from his body, and most of the time, I don't even think he knows it. He's just swimming in a pool of creativity, which he created from his own body. Wow. The man's a filmmaker. He's a musician. He's just a brave old kind creative soul. Man, I just can't get enough of him. I really enjoy talking to him, and I really enjoy talking to him today. So can't wait for you guys to hear all about it and get to hear how I got to pick his mind hear how I picked his mind about film and his creative process. So I wonder if I can say creative any more times. Before we get into it, I just want to say, hey, NickolasNatali.com/shop, you can get some merch. You can get a Burb Life sweatshirt. I'm wearing it right now. I feel good, feels cozy. It's a nice cloudy day. It's making me feel at home. Go there and also leave a 5-star review. Leave a little review so I can get some feedback on this stuff. I'd really appreciate it. We're trying to grow the podcast, so if you could share it with a friend, if it resonates with you, if you learned something, if you liked it, something along those lines. I don't know. Please share, please enjoy, and I'll talk. I don't know. I guess I'll see you on the other side of the podcast. All right, bye.
And jiggity check.
Check. Oh, check. Welcome. Hello and welcome to the Nickolas Natali Show. I'm your host, Nickolas Natali.
It's going really good so far.
Yeah, it feels good. We got a very special guest today, Tyler Joe French.
Ooh, when did you learn that piece of info?
You know.
You're doing your dirt.
A little bit of dirt.
I didn't know this is a research podcast.
Oh, it is.
Okay.
It's very intensive.
All right.
As an introduction, Tyler Joe, creative guy. Does anybody call you Tyler Joe?
No. Nobody ever. No.
Oh.
TJ for a little bit.
Oh.
My parents tried to do that. Tried to run that game on me.
Made you a different person?
Yeah.
Your identity shifted a little bit?
Sometimes when I lived in Charlotte, North Carolina for a while, and I would incorporate my kind of redneck accent would be Tyler Joe.
Tyler Joe.
Yeah, Tyler Joe.
Hey, what's up, Tyler Joe?
Change my foot water.
Tyler Joe here. Ugh, yuck. I'm happy you mentioned that, though, because our first topic today is, it seems like you graduated college, and in your early 20s, you were a nomad for a bit. It seems like you went to Carolina.
Yeah.
You went to Maine. It seemed like you touched Kansas just slightly, like very barely, and then you ended up in Denver. What?
Half of that information is true.
Half of it? Which was correct and which wasn't?
I never was in Maine. And I've been to Kansas City and maybe taken pictures that you saw, like a tag on Facebook or something.
I think the same thing happened for Maine.
Through. Okay.
The only one I can confirm is you lived in Denver.
True.
Okay.
True.
That's good. Did you have a vision for moving?
Denver was the second one. The first place I moved when I was 21 to get away from Michigan was Phoenix. So I had family there.
Interesting.
And then the girl that I was dating at the time and I, after living in Phoenix together for like a year and a half or so, we just kind of were throwing darts at like the hipster map. Like
no,
Austin,
you weren't.
Not like literally, but figuratively, like Austin, Portland, Seattle, Denver, and we just decided to go to Denver for no reason.
You had a travel itch, just the old travel bug, wanting to see the world kind of deal, or was Michigan that bad?
Probably a little column A, column B. It was hard. That was a hard time. I think it's still a little bit hard there, but it's hard to I don't know. You hear kind of horror stories about people graduating college and not being able to get a job.
Yeah. You're like, that's not happening to me. I'm gonna go wherever.
Especially if you don't graduate college.
Did you not?
I did. Bro.
I checked the LinkedIn. And I was like,
went to Michigan State.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, I don't see the. But I didn't want to,
Dude, you're checking LinkedIn and stuff? I didn't know I was coming into all this heat.
Dude, you're coming into quite a bit of heat.
Yeah.
It's gonna be pretty intensive. Yeah. It's at the very least you should find some sort of therapeutic of
way to breathe through it.
Yeah. just kind of understand who you are, because I feel like I fully understand you from all of the research.
Okay.
That's not true.
Well, clue me in, man.
No.
Is that what the show is? You just tell people who they are.
This is what you're like. This is what the internet says you're like. Just pretty close.
I like that.
Pretty close to the
That's
same
a good premise for a podcast.
Come in here and tell people who they are.
Yeah.
I like it. So, but I will say this. It seemed like everywhere you went, you found community, and people liked you. But then you also moved a lot. How do you, I'll say this. I'm going to double up on that, and I'm going to say, you also kept those relationships with every place that you went, it seemed like.
Yeah, it seems like. Yeah, just as like the solid few, you know, you have I don't know. I think it's easy to build acquaintances and harder to make those kind of lifelong friendships. And I feel like I have one or two of those in Denver and Phoenix and Charlotte that I stay in touch with. And before the film industry, I came from hospitality, which is like kind of another sort of incestuous, like hodgepodge of acquaintances.
What a word to use.
You know what I mean? Like everyone kind of like working in the same. It's not like you're segmented off working in a cubicle from the rest of the world. Everyone works together to create stuff. So I think those things come with like a lot of acquaintances and I don't know if you call them true friends, but there's a lot of people that in circles and stuff like that.
So you know a lot of people. Like,
Bro.
Do you know or do you know of?
I know my dad knows a lot of people too. Like,
what a flex. Tell me about your dad. Who's your dad?
No, that was just,
who's your daddy?
It's just a my dad reference.
My dad's a cop.
Yeah, my dad like knows.
Hey, you can't say that to me. My dad's a cop.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, yeah. My dad's a lawyer.
Yeah, doctor.
Also goes right along line with like we're seniors, bro. Like, what are they gonna do?
Yeah, they can still do quite a bit.
Yeah, it turns out.
It turns out you can't break too many rules.
Yeah, it's true.
Speaking of hospitality industry, bartending. Moreover, seems like you were in, like you were like you may have a lot of acquaintances, but it seemed like you were in it, and I felt like I didn't know there could be so much going on in that community. I had no idea. Was there competitions? Was I seeing competitions? What the heck is it? What the heck is that?
Yeah, there's just competitions. People make cocktails and like award each other for it. It's interesting.
Give me the lowdown on one of those.
Well, you know, it's like you've seen Top Chef. It's not that different than that. You know, it's just like but drinks instead of food. So. Yeah, a lot of times, like, a brand would come in, like Campari or Patron or whatever, and say, here's a couple $1,000 prize money. Use our product to make spirits. And then, you know, whoever wins is going to feature that probably on their cocktail list, you know, and then everything just kind of comes back around.
Got it.
But, yeah, I participated in, like, probably, like, 5 or 6 of those in a row.
Back to back?
This one, kind of, like, 1 year time period that I was like, This is
your thing?
This is my identity.
How'd you get hooked in that?
I worked at a place in Denver that was like the kind of ultimate stir your drink kind of place before it was like really kind of everywhere. Yeah. It was just like at the boutique spots. And
kiss the mic, yeah.
And it's just like it was weird. It's like almost like an apprenticeship program, you know, with like these bartenders who have been doing it for a while, and they kind of like come up through the ranks.
No way.
Very weird, yeah.
Who were you during those days? You know what I mean? Like,
I like to think I'm pretty similar.
Okay.
But yeah, you know, tastes change, and what's important changes to you all the time. And at that time, like, and hospitality is still important to me. I mean, we're having like a little shindig here on Thursday, and I think it's really important to like host people and show people a good time through you know, ambiance and music and food and drinks and stuff like that. So that'll always be a part of me. But the cocktail specific stuff and like nerding out on that, I think that was just a way to like maybe get creative in an industry that wasn't like always super creative.
Yeah.
You know, like making drink menus that had all the ingredients of the cocktails be modeled after lyrics of a song, you know, or something like weird like that. But yeah, I don't know. It is weird to look back on and think about like the weight, the gravity
that you felt going into those things.
Not felt, but like put on it, like that everyone was putting on it,
like pressure
when the winner of this thing like gets to, well, sometimes they'd be like, you go to Ireland. And
oh my gosh, like, that's worth it for sure.
Right. Yeah, so 100%. It's easy to kind of get sucked away in that aspect of it, like riding in the Hendrix like hot air balloon and stuff is like a fun time.
Did you win that from the competition?
No, that was just given to a group of us in San Diego, just
for being a baller,
bow ties or whatever,
Wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was weird.
Did you ever? Did you ever see or like?
I thought it was gonna be a little bit smoother than that.
Yeah, it's pretty ASMR. Except it's like a wake up ASMR instead of a go to sleep ASMR.
Yeah.
Did you ever see anything that you? I'm gonna word it like this. Did you see anything you regret seeing when you were a bartender? Like, did you see stuff that you're like, ooh?
I've touched things that I regret touching. Bar stools of pee.
Oh. Is that common?
No, only one. Well,
one guy.
One woman, actually. It happened multiple times, but yeah.
Did you ban
her? I don't remember how we dealt with that situation. She wasn't like a super regular, but she was a part of like a group that would come in, once every 4 or 5 months. So it was like,
you kind of
after that amount of time, you don't want to be like, remember 5 months ago when you peed in my restaurant? Then it just
I had to wipe it up.
Childish.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if we ever got around to like banning her or talking to her about it.
Yikes.
She just out there.
She just kept doing it. She's doing it all over the country now.
Right. She's still at large.
Do you think she's doing it intentionally? Like that's her thing that she got sucked into. All of her friends are like, who can pee in the most bars?
That's an interesting thought.
It could be. You never know.
I think you should have her on the podcast.
Yeah. Why'd you pee on his stool?
Which one?
Which one was it? I want to touch it.
Yeah, she was really drunk.
I'll leave it at that.
I don't know if she knew. She didn't get like embarrassed. There was
and then maybe she
the first of the 2 times, she was still hanging out at the bar. Like,
yeah,
it's not like she peed and left. She was like just there.
Oh, so maybe she didn't even.
Yeah, I think she was just that far gone.
Yikes.
And I served very responsibly.
Good. Yeah. To this day.
To this day.
You've never served irresponsibly. Never. Tyler.
Nickolas.
I'm going to compliment you.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is a nice podcast.
Yeah. It's got a lot of good vibes. The lights in here are really setting the tone.
Yeah.
It's bringing in the warmth and the little bit of, that feeling in your chest when you like feel a little joy?
A little joy. I don't know if we're I think like neither of us are on screen right now.
It's all good. We have half of one right there.
Nice.
If you're watching online right now.
If you're watching
online, you're enjoying a nice.
It's a beautiful monitor. Like you can see our kind of.
Yeah, we're gonna have to be very expressive with our feet.
Yeah.
So what I was saying was, man, back to the compliment.
I was trying to avoid that. See that?
Are you bad at accepting compliments?
I haven't even. It depends on the compliment.
Oh.
So we'll see.
Yikes. Okay. So I think you're a good leader, and I think you may. I don't know. I'm asking. I think you're a natural leader, but I want to know. Is this a skill that you've honed? And I want to know if like bartending and hosting and being part of that social life has influenced that part of your life, of like being charismatic and a leader in social dynamics.
That's interesting. I don't see myself as I don't know. I guess there's a couple different ways that I would look at a leader.
Okay.
And one of them I can see myself in, and the other one I can't. And I don't think I possess like really strong managerial skills, which I think are quintessential to like certain types of leaders. But I think I have like kind of a clear vision for things, and I'm able to convey that.
Yeah.
So I kind of am able to get around not being like the best like manager of employees. So that was always my least favorite part about like the bar industry and just like a lot of like positions where I'm like in like a boss type position is like managing people.
Is it the personalities or is it like the admin stuff?
It's probably a little bit of both.
Mm.
Yeah. I tend to get like a little bit lost in my whimsical idea brain sometimes and lose track of like
Reality.
Emails or like
yeah,
the day-to-day stuff that like
yeah.
you kind of have to do to
Yeah.
be like a proper like managerial type leader.
I'm also I'm terrible with that stuff.
Yeah, it can be hard.
It is hard.
But if it's fun, then I love it.
Yeah.
If it's, so like directing a film is fun because it's like, okay, let's all do this.
Because
like,
it's part of
this
your
is
vision.
everyone's part, and it's a part of like creating something. When it's like it's Saturday, so let's do our wine training and make sure everyone's paying attention.
1 o'clock, better be here.
I don't know. I don't have the capacity to like care enough about that.
There's too many other things.
Yeah.
And there's too many. Your emphasis seems like it's very on the creative side of things. So like those are very, in my mind, not creative and not challenging whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like it's monotonous.
Yeah.
So it's like why even meetings, I feel like if you don't know what you're trying to say to somebody or like what the point is, I get it's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
It freaks me out. Freaks me out very much. So would you say you're more big picture or small picture?
Big picture. It's hard to answer though because I am like very, like I get very wrapped up in incredibly meticulous things like within edits and things like that, which I think does require
small picture.
But also I tend to be like a little bit fleeting when it comes to like when I have a large big idea. I'm quick to like sort of move around to what's like firing at the time.
Oh, yeah,
I
get
mean?
you. Yeah.
And then like not always like follow through on the small stuff for all the ideas.
Yeah.
Because once they start to get boring, then it's hard
to keep them up.
Like
Yeah. I have been wrestling with the same thing because I think I'm also big picture, but like you said, once I get an edit in my hand, I'm taking 14, 25 hours on something that I'm like, something so small that I just can't get down. And I don't know. I think what I have found is, man, it's my brother. I've quoted him before, but he said, I was talking to him about like rental properties and stuff. And I was telling him like, oh yeah, we could get this house and then we could refinance it and then we put it down on another house and we could have like 10 rental properties. And he's like, you're refinancing a house you don't even have yet. And I was like, that's so perfect to how I see things.
Yeah.
Which I think is true. And maybe that's just like the creative part of our brains wanting to fulfill these huge visions.
Yeah.
But are you good at, I'm really good at starting projects.
Yeah, it's the fun part.
Yeah. And I feel I'm really good at starting them, and I'm good at, I want to say finishing them, but there's like that middle part. That's like the toughest part.
Yeah, no, I get, yeah. I can relate to that totally. I've got I don't know 9 maybe feature screenplays that I've, like at one point I was like, oh this is the one. This is the. Are we allowed to swear in this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Cool. This is the one.
Just you. Just you are allowed to swear. You're the only I guess that's allowed to swear in the whole
in the Natali universe.
Yeah. This is the only one that's gonna have the little E next to it. It's because of you.
Oh great. E's for everyone, isn't it? Video games.
There you go. Yeah. Same with podcasts. That's how they get mixed up in explicit games. Kids are playing explicit games.
What is this guy? Yeah. So I have like probably 9 or so features that I just have gone completely to the wayside because something else came along and I was like either 4 or 5 pages in or just had mapped out like the characters and plot points but never even like wrote an actual word of the thing. Yeah. This year I've given myself an actual resolution that I've never given myself a resolution before. Yeah.
What is it?
To finish 2 feature screenplays by July 4th so I can celebrate our freedom peacefully.
Wow. Freedom of your mind.
Yeah.
Peace of mind getting those done.
Yeah. I just wanted to give myself a date like that was like not too far off. I feel like a year would have given me too much time to dilly-dally.
Slack.
And they're like pretty much completely conceptualized as far as plot points goes. So I just had to then translate that to words.
How do you go about that process? Did you study how to do it, or it's your own way? Your own, like, do you outline and then just fill in the blanks, or?
I've done it a couple different ways. I didn't go to school for it, and I don't know if there's like a singular way to do anything creative really. But I started off like I don't want to overthink it because that's gonna stifle my creative vision or whatever kind of like romanticized like artist brain thing. Yeah. And then I realized like after finishing my first feature script, like, oh, there's a lot of shit doesn't really make a lot of sense. You know? So I've kind of aligned, I guess, how I attack that, and now I do like I'll flesh the characters out and basically kind of work my way through the whole movie, big picture style, as far as like conflicts and all that, and then eventually like have kind of the scenes broken up and then write them out.
Just piecing together the ideas.
Yeah.
Are you excited about it? Are you excited about both of them? Okay.
I am. Yeah, I'm excited about both of them. I think one of them is a little bit out of my like scope right now.
Oh, that's exciting then. That's super exciting. It's challenging.
Yeah, but it's like it's for like if I were to make the first one and people ended up liking it, then it's for like the second one. You know, it's definitely beyond like the place I'm at right now. But yeah, I'm excited about both of them.
Dope. Super dope. Super dope.
Dope.
Moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Creative. Sticking with the creative stuff. I am so happy that I get to talk to you about this. Wow. I'm overjoyed. I've been dying to just...
I'm a little bit intimidated.
No, don't be intimidated.
Okay.
Maybe I'll give you another compliment. Soften it up. Dude, you like to play music.
I do. Yeah.
You're a big music guy.
I'm a music guy.
What the heck? That's awesome. Tell me if this is correct, because I couldn't solidify the facts in my mind if this is correct. 2 bands, but 1 stuck. First one was Fashion Babies a band? What was that?
Shut the fuck up.
You got an album called Mars, and then
my god.
Is that the first one? That's the
Fashion Babies. Man, I haven't thought about Fashion Babies in like 5 years. Fashion Babies never. I guess it was a very, very momentary band. Yeah. Wow, man, that's a deep cut. How did you even find that?
Why was that one temporary? Why didn't that one?
Well, I guess it was temporary for a really valid reason. My buddy from San Francisco was like doing his pilgrimage, you know, for knowledge and enlightenment through foreign countries.
That was his time.
For whatever reason, he stopped in Phoenix for a couple days.
Okay.
and we started a band.
I'm here for 6 days, guys. Let's put something together.
That's really what it was. And our intention was never to play out, but like just to record an album.
Yeah, you guys did a whole album.
No, we released.
What was Mars? Mars is not an album?
It was like 3 songs or 4 songs.
EP? Is that what's the difference between EP and an album? Yeah. Is that it? That's the difference, pretty much.
Whatever, people. Yeah.
But whether it's fleshed out or not.
Yeah. So that was it. Short-lived.
No regrets, though. No regrets.
No regrets, yeah. Very small window of my time.
But then I feel like you pick up steam. Botanica Chango.
Botanica Chango was a band, and kind of almost still is a band.
I'm going to start. I'm curious about all of it. Whew. To start, I guess I should say, I will say this. You do get another compliment.
Ooh.
Second compliment. The music really seemed like a craft that you honed for a really long time. Like, it really... And it was good. I listened to
the Chango album?
I listened to the album, and I thought it was really good and really well made and all that stuff.
That I can take not as much credit for that as the film stuff. The creative driving force behind Botanica Chango's name is Carlos Valente, and he's a a true genius, like artistic, like savant person. So
it's a good person to have around.
Yeah.
What'd you learn from him?
Lots of stuff. About hospitality too. He was a bar owner at the Lion Share where I worked at before, and that's how we linked up. And then him and a couple other guys that we knew through that industry. It was just like a bunch of like bartender bros playing indie rock.
In a band?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was fun. Yeah.
You're living my dream though. You've been on a tour, and I've always wanted to know what it's like. Like that's really on my list of things to do at some point. Is it as exhausting as they say? Is it exhilarating? What?
Yeah. I mean, our tour was pretty small. It was just like Southwest. We never did like a full national thing.
Yeah.
And I would say if the weather was a little different, it wouldn't have been that exhausting. It was really hot. We did like the Southwest in July or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And we were in a van with like no AC, you know, and lugging all the gear around and all that. So that was really the only. I mean, anytime you're in a car with that many people, there's going to be some personality things. But I think we all pretty much got along for the most part. Took our turns driving the van sober so that everyone could unwind. And yeah, it was fun.
That's tight. What did you learn about the people that were coming to your shows? Like, what type of people were getting drawn in?
Well, the first stop was Phoenix, and a lot of the people that came to our show were people that used to come to my bar.
Yeah.
From there.
Yeah.
So
that's really cool.
And then just that bar in general was just a busy place, and we played on a Friday or Saturday night or something. So there was just a crowd of kind of hip music loving folks there. And then a lot of the other stops, like, we didn't really pull a big crowd in Las Vegas. We had like 10 or 15 people come from San Diego, which was pretty fun. That's
insane.
Yeah. Well, it was like people's girlfriends and their friends and people's like good friends and all that came out. But the people who just kind of like randomly were at our shows through like Nevada and like Northern California and stuff, I think they didn't really know like what to make of it at first, because our front man is like just kind of a weird guy. We have a lead singer who's Carlos, who I talked about earlier, but then we had like a hype man, like kind of like a Flava Flav, kind of like a fake front man, who acted like he
crowd work,
did all the lifting and wrote all the songs, and was very like kind of like Andy Kaufman, like kind of cocky, like almost like a villain.
Wow.
So a lot of times it just didn't. I don't know. People didn't really get it until about halfway through, and then they decided to either like it or dislike it. But it was fun to watch. He'd do costume changes and all kinds of really weird shit.
Yeah. NBC San Diego has said the same thing, dude.
Yeah. You watched the NBC little clip?
You had an interview with him, yeah.
No.
What made it so weird? They said, may I quote what they said?
Yeah.
NBC San Diego said, Botanica Chango packed a big punch of weird.
Yeah. Yeah, we were named also San Diego's weirdest band in 2017 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I can't.
But it seemed likable. It seemed like they liked you because of that reason.
Yeah, they did. NBC liked us.
Yeah.
And 91X liked us too. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It was like everything was like a concept, you know?
Mm.
I think Carlos and I both work in that kind of headspace.
Yeah.
So instead of just like, where are you guys going to play next? Like Casbah, I was like, yeah, no, we're going to rent this warehouse and then not let anyone in unless they have a flashlight, and then turn all the lights off in the place.
Yeah.
And like do like a fucking seance with a sumo outfit or something, you know, just like.
Yeah. And you did it though.
Yeah.
Like how do you conceptualize, like you conceptualize an idea like that? And a lot of people are probably like, oh yeah, that would be cool. Then you guys didn't do it.
Well, we also come from the background of like hospitality management, so it's like booking out venues and creating tickets and getting alcohol sponsors and all that stuff. Like that stuff we did all the time. Yeah. You know, it's like we threw parties professionally, so to do it for a band is just another like day of work, kind of.
That's incredible. And did that make planning a tour that much easier too? Because that seems like one of my biggest roadblocks in my mind would be, where do you know where to go? You know, like how do you?
Yeah, the funny thing is, like a lot of the spots that we ended up playing on tour were people that I knew from the bar industry.
That's crazy.
And not even like people that I knew that knew people. You know, like hey, who knows whatever and wherever, and people are like, yeah, this guy's. And it's like people I didn't even know.
Yeah. And then next thing you know, you're there.
I went to a bar competition with that guy in 2012. We both made gin drinks. Yeah.
Your name was...
That's it, and that's enough, you know?
Dang.
That sense of camaraderie, I guess. But I don't remember what the original question was.
That's fine.
Cool.
What did you learn about yourself doing a band tour? Because I mean, it helps that you have all those skills, but now you're bringing this thing that you loved for a long time. I'm putting this on you. I don't know, music, and now you're getting to do it in like for realsies. You know, like did it feel real to you?
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think for realsies is kind of like wrapped up in like in regards to like the way you're presenting it. Maybe this is me projecting now back at you, but like. There's like for realsies for funsies, and for realsies for moneysies.
Oh, so which one was it?
So like we didn't make money on the tour at all.
But did you lose money?
We sold albums and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No, we definitely spent money in gas and Airbnbs and stuff like that. It was just like.
But the experiences.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. The experience was incredible.
I feel like I've been reading things about like I just read one of the social media influencers who like got into music and went on a tour, lost like $750,000 on it, and I believe that stuff, but it just seems like such a like I don't know about $750,000 losing that, but it seems like such a great experience to not that much though.
If you got it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's definitely it's cool to not have to think about anything but what's for lunch, like what are you gonna drink before the show, and where is everyone gonna sleep?
Yeah.
And like that's the nice aspect. Like no kind of email and no.
It's just fun.
Regular life stuff for a little while. But yeah, at the end of it, like certainly down to sleep in my bed and.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Get out of that van.
Yeah.
Take a break from it.
Yeah, July.
Were you doing it with like your closest friends? Like I'm sure that made the experience so much more rewarding.
Yeah, all of them were good friends. A couple closer than others, but yeah. I mean, being in a van with JB and Carlos for any amount of times was pretty interesting, and
always something came out of it.
2015 or whenever that was. Yeah, it's a wild crew.
And the last thing I'm going to ask about the band, because I really like it, but you had to play at a venue. It seems like you really wanted to play at Casbah.
Yeah,
Casbah.
Yeah.
What was that experience like? Like you wanting to play at this venue, and the next thing you know, you're playing at the venue and you're headlining it.
Yeah, very cool. That was like the first venue in San Diego that I ever went to, and thought this is a really neat place. It feels genuine and old school and kind of rock and roll.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I don't know, anyone who's never been to the Casbah, it's just like a dirty, like kind of underground, just feels really authentic and noisy in the best way. So yeah, being on stage the first time was really surreal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we had a couple of good crowds at the Casbah. It was fun.
Sweet.
Yeah. I don't have a better answer for that.
No, I love it. I just wanted to know. Do you think that... Do you think the creative process for making music is similar to creating a film?
No, I don't. Not the way that we or I have ever done it. Making music for me before Django, and I think for Django too, always started with like one instrument playing one sound and building upon that in a very kind of live setting.
Yeah.
In a collaborative kind of creation, you know, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's interesting. Mm-hmm.
And it would either start with one instrument playing one sound or one melody, or a vocal melody that we then built around. But almost all the songs that we ever wrote were kind of written in the span of a night or whatever.
But as with film, you write a script for.
In the film, you have a lot of
July.
I think a lot of kind of more introspective time to consider your vision and put it together before you even reach anybody else with presenting it as an idea.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and then
that's true.
And then collaborating. It just looks a little bit different, I think. It's more specified. It doesn't feel like it flows the same kind of way that music does, and that kind of ethereal, everyone's just doing this thing together, jamming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
But I love the way that music and film come together in the post process, and the editing and stuff is something that is really near and dear to me.
Have you ever wanted to? It seems like you guys made music for films and things. Have you ever wanted to solely produce
like a score?
Yeah, the score, or you write this film, you film it, and you create the music for it, and it's just this beautiful, your own full masterpiece.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Sounds intense.
It sounds intense. Yeah, I've done things that I've written and shot and edited to film that we all wrote together.
Well, that's cool.
And things before.
Yeah.
Which is fun. But yeah, I think scoring a film would be really interesting. Some of the stuff that Johnny Greenwood of Radiohead did with the Paul Thomas Anderson films,
mm-hmm.
There Will Be Blood or Phantom Thread is really, really blows my mind. I would love to do something like that at some point, but it's also. That's tricky business.
Yeah. You're a dreamer. You know? You're a big dreamer guy.
This in your notes?
No. It's just, that's all it says right there.
You're a dreamer segue.
You're a dreamer segue. I actually don't have a segue for You're a Dreamer, but I was just wondering if you were See, the thing is... You know, let me talk about, speaking of, in relation to, with all of your creative ideas, how far do your visions go? Does that make sense? Because, I mean, for me, I'll give an example. Okay. For me, so I started selling sweatshirts.
I've seen them.
Yeah.
On the stories. You got the stories lit up.
Dude, I got them lit, bro. Extra lit.
Yeah.
So I first started selling those, and the minute one of them sold, I was like, sweet, I'm gonna find a great manufacturer, and then I'm gonna have a storefront, and then I'm gonna find real estate in San Diego, and then I'm gonna put up a shop, and then I'm gonna put them in Volcom, and then and it's this 15-year thing, right out of the gate.
Yeah.
And then next thing I know, I'm overwhelmed because somebody bought one sweatshirt. But that happens all the time. So when you make, when you have the band or when you make a film, do you ever get to that point where you're this film gonna go into this film fest, and then it's gonna go to LA, and then it's gonna blow up, and then I'm gonna be the director guy? Do you have?
I used to have some shades of that, and I've kind of had to resign them for my own personal sanity. I've gotten to the point now where with the screenplays that I'm writing, I'm if these all go in a filing cabinet and I have a grandchild that reads these one day and is stoked about them,
that's a win.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Because I think it's easier to focus and just do what you like, and not when you don't have that pressure on yourself. For me, at least, just kind of taking it one day at a time.
Wow.
Yeah.
When did
Ancient proverbs there.
When did you? What point did you You said it was for your personal sanity.
Mm-hmm.
What were you doing before?
Are you looking for the juice, huh?
I'm looking for the juice, man.
No, just I was like I had a couple times where I had like big meetings or I was completing like feature script or projects and thought, oh, this is the thing that could if I just work it right, if I just work hard and just get it in the right channels and just sit in the room with the right people, I can do it. I can do it with this one and I can do it like quickly.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
which is like
every time.
Yeah, I don't know how much of that stuff you can just will into existence with hard work and good ideas and how much of it is serendipity and who you know and where you're at and all that stuff. But I've just decided to stop not spending my time like trying to figure that out, whether or not you can do that and if I should be doing that and all that. Just doing the work that I love and because I love it and then whatever comes of it.
That's fine.
That's what it becomes, yeah.
Man, that's boggling my mind. Because it was like, you still have places you want to go. You still have things you want to do, right? It's just...
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you have big dreams and then rein them in? That's pretty much that's what it is, right? You doing what you love every day.
Okay, so my big dream, instead of to think about it tangibly, then my big dream then becomes to make a piece of work that I'm ultimately proud of.
Right.
And if that's the case, if that's the dream, I think it's just a different pressure, not a pressure to have success from everyone, because you don't know how everyone's going to react to your work. All you can do is come from an authentic place and create something. But if I'm proud of the thing, then I've reached the goal, and whether or not that takes me someplace or not, I'll always figure out a way to eat.
Yeah.
I don't need to have a star or anything, on the walk.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be nuts.
Would be cool.
That'd be cool. Would you have it say Tyler J or Tyler Joe?
Now I'm gonna reconsider. I was before you came in here today. I would have definitely said Tyler J.
But now, maybe Ty Joe. Ty Joe.
Yes. Howdy.
Hi.
Are you on air?
Yeah. That's okay.
You want to say hello?
Who am I saying hello to?
The people at home.
To the people at home, hello.
Hello.
If I am leaving, I'll lock the door.
Okay, thank you.
And the back door's locked.
Okay, thank you.
What's staying in there?
We're now alone, Nick.
Oh, jeez. Thought we had this. I felt safe for a moment. Now my safety is just blasted. Ready for another banger?
Yeah, hit me.
Sweet.
Okay.
So, you make films. You got into filmmaking. That's my segue. Did you a question to get to the question? You came from. Did you find film from music? That's how it came to be. Was it making music videos?
Correct.
That's awesome. And now it's would you consider those videos and these are films? How do you've only been on the behind the camera. How do you give good director notes? Does that make sense? Having not been in front of the camera, what do you stem it from?
Yeah, I guess everyone kind of has their own style. It's a little bit different with every actor that you work with too. But I think it's really important to first try to make sure that everyone's having fun and set is pretty lighthearted. Because once you are able to have that environment, then I think people are much more willing to try new things and go out of their way to look at things in a way that might be foreign to what they were thinking before coming into it. But yeah, I guess I don't know how to really answer that question. How do I give good director notes? Do I give good director notes?
So I'll give context. I thought you gave good director notes to me, especially in oh, hey everybody, This is Tyler, who directed Cast in the Fire, if you've seen it, through me.
Hi.
This is the man with the vision. Yeah, I thought you gave really good director's notes because it was like, how do I word it? It's like, I think it's the perspective from the way you're seeing it, but it's also the things that you're seeing, right? Like, I think you have an eye for things that, one, actors, at least myself, from what I wouldn't be able to see, and I think what most people that are looking through the lens aren't seeing. So I don't know where it comes from. I don't know what makes you like see those things that
No,
you
but
do.
I think you just answered the question better than I did, and I think a lot of it does come from like just a certain type of critical thinking,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're able to take that critical thinking and then articulate it is really all I'm like trying to stumble my way through when I'm on set. You know, it's like, oh, I have this thing in my head that you're delivering this kind of line or this beat in such a way that makes it feel a certain way, but what it calls for is this other way. So how can we, you know, reframe your like motivations or your thought process to get to that new place without making you get insanely wrapped up in your own head.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the tricky part is like, you know, you don't want to be over noting things either, you know, because then
You want them to still have their creative space too.
yeah, totally, and be comfortable and not exhausted. I mean, what did we worked you for like 16 hours or something crazy?
It was fun.
So
yeah.
sorry about that.
No, it was a great time. I had a blast.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was a fun.
What do you see? What do you see actors struggling with the most when they come on set?
Number one thing would probably be script analysis. I would say.
Okay, hit me.
So I think there's a couple like good schools for acting around. There's some great actors and that I've had a chance to work with, and I feel like if I had to say one thing could be improved upon, like overall, this is some of these actors come in, they're so good at improv, they're so good at like coming from an authentic place, and just maybe don't always pick up from the script what the individual beats might be.
Yeah.
As far as subtext and reading between the lines.
Yeah.
And you can really tell that the actors that do that well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not only incredibly impressive, but it makes everything go so much smoother on set.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's probably like the kind of underdog skill, I think, of great actors. It's easy to like romanticize the people that just like have this like detrimental emotional relationship with themselves because they go to these depths and stuff, you know, and like I think that part is the easy part to put on a pedestal, but the people who can actually break down text and be like, what's the subtext here, what's really happening between the lines, and be able to be authentic about that, those are the heroes.
The real ones.
Yeah.
Those are the real ones.
People who can do it both are the you know,
the superheroes.
obviously the best, but I think you can't really have one without the other.
Yeah.
You know, I think even the actors that tell you they go crazy for the roles, they still do that stuff. They just don't talk about it.
The script analysis?
Yeah. They break everything down and read between the lines.
But it's more fun to say when you slept inside of a bare body, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
You know, from that day, I've been like trying to think through, because we talked about script analysis a little bit, and it made me ponder, and maybe we both talked about this, like...
Well, you didn't even have a script, though, so...
Yeah, but it's so fun. I love no script. But, like, the logical... Like, you could take a logical approach to it, but my question is, can you take a logical approach to it, still really authentically feel, and deliver it? Because when I take so let's say I break down this script, right? and I say, okay, this is the motivation of that character, and I know right here, like this is when it gets tight. So I know I have to be super emotional right there, and then you know what I mean? Like when I put it into like it's almost like an if statement, if this then that.
As it comes with an equation.
Yeah.
Thinking about the equation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know this firsthand because this is, like you said, I haven't been on that side of the camera, but what I would like hypothesize is that, and what I think some acting teachers would tell you is that, you know, the Daniel Day-Lewis's or whoever, that even the most kind of method people that are out there, I think they do all that stuff and figure it out so perfectly that they can kind of forget it and be in it. You know what I mean? But he still knows, like, when he still knows when he's asking for the extra jam on his toast, that, like, the meaning behind that line isn't because he wants extra jam on his toast or whatever. It's because he's, like, a really particular, pompous, like man who has a lot of money and always gets what he wants, and he's talking to someone at a lower class than him, and she's going to give him what he wants, and like, you know, like all that stuff that's underneath that. That he knows all that stuff. Like he's done all that work. But he's done it so well, I think, that he can.
Now it's natural.
Now he can just forget about it and just be that person because he's read the script so thoroughly and understands the character so well.
Do you think method acting is legit? Like,
I don't know. I've gone back and forth on that so many times. And it's funny because, like, I've heard some of my favorite directors, like Paul Thomas Anderson, like, talk about this too with Daniel Day-Lewis specifically, and he's like, he knows the cameras are on, like he knows people are in the room.
You
knows,
have
like,
to.
Everything is like you can only, like, I don't know. That's where I talk about, like, kind of the romanticized notion a little bit. I think it gets a little bit carried away.
Like when I watched that documentary on Jim Carrey or whatever, and like they're like, who's he gonna be? Like, is he his character or is it Jim? And he walks out and he's his character, and everybody's like, oh great, now I gotta deal with this maniac of a character all day long because he won't get out of character. And it's like, do you do that? Do you be mean to everybody all day just so you can have it for the camera, or can you just really just take 10 minutes before and just turn it on? You know,
I guess does it have you tried it both ways?
That's true.
Yeah, like, has he? I don't know. I don't know how much of that is like
he gets pleasure out of just being
and how much of it is, you know, kind of tried and true, and how much of it is for the character of Jim Carrey too, and how much, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Maybe.
And he kind of totally abandoned all of his identity stuff and got weird, right, pretty recently. So maybe he could answer that question more clearly now, or maybe it's more fuzzy. I don't know. Yikes. No, I like his new persona a lot.
Persona?
Yeah, no, well, his new non-persona, I guess, or whatever it is.
Oh, his straight talk kind of guy?
Well, I don't know, did you watch, like, the, what was the recent one that came out?
It's the one where he's wearing a leather jacket and he's sitting talking to the camera, and he's like, yeah, and I was going to be a millionaire, and I was going to do whatever it takes. But now he's, like, saying it's all bad, like, fame's bad. Like he.
Oh, I think, he just kind of, like, is talking about, like, abandoning his, like stereotypical, like, outlooks on reality, or his existent, I don't know, his identity, like. I don't know. I'd have to rewatch it, but I remember liking it at the time. I was like, this guy's got some interesting stuff to say.
Yeah, I'll listen to this.
Yeah.
It leaves you with a good taste in your mouth.
And they did flash back to some of the really cool stuff, like the Man on the Moon stuff, and, like, it's just...
He's done some cool stuff.
Yeah, so. He's a great fucking actor, man. Eternal Sunshine.
So it's hard to say what's... Yeah. When there's so much to...
I'll quote Kanye West here.
Please do.
If I can.
Yeah, I'd love to.
On your podcast?
Yeah, quotes are acceptable.
Name one genius that ain't crazy.
Oof. You crazy?
No, I'm not a genius, though.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad you didn't self-proclaim yourself as a genius. That was a trap, actually. Wow, I'm sorry I put you in that predicament.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm curious as to, what do you think the ratio is on those that want... This is my experience in LA. There's people that, like, want to be an actor because, you know, they're in LA. So it's like, yeah, let's just go be an actor. There's people that want the fame, and then there's people that, like, decently want it to agree. They'll put in when it's convenient. And then there's people that, like, really, really want it. Where do you think that... I think having that weird thing of fame in the equation for actors and directors is weird to me.
Yeah.
Because to me, like, it's almost like there's this thing that I love to do, and there's this craft that I want to perfect. But if you perfect it and it's heightened and you want to have it all the time, be working and successful in it, there is an element of, like, the fame aspect coming into play. But it's like, I don't want any of that. How do you ever think about those kind of, like...
Not as much as I would, I think, if I was an actor,
Mm-hmm.
because I think behind the camera you don't have to really consider it as much. But I do think the way that it affects your perspective and when you're creating and your work ethic and all that.
Yeah.
I think the people that you talked about that really, really want it and work hard and, like, will do whatever they can to, like, be in, theater programs and classes and work on whatever. Those people, I think, are going to grow the craft a little bit faster than people that just want to get famous, because that's like a get rich quick kind
scheme
of scheme or something. It's
Yeah.
It seems like, the fame aspect of it makes it all weird. It makes any kind of music or any kind of artistic. It just makes everything kind of foggy, I think, because what's your motivation at the end of the day? Is it to be famous and have a lot of money, or do you really want to? Do you really love acting, or do you really love directing, or do you really love playing the drums, or whatever it is?
But then you also think, if I got famous and had the money, I could create more things that I like. I could have I could create it even better.
Yeah.
With whatever the resources I now have.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about in the back of the pickup truck.
Yeah.
It's like when that knock comes on your door, like, it's 9 times out of 10 it's coming from LA.
Yeah.
So even if you are one of those people who's like, I don't want to live in LA, we can make a film community here or whatever, like,
kind of that person. I'm turning into that person.
When that knock comes, though, like,
what are you going to do?
Most people are going to answer it, I think.
So we got to get a bunch of people to not answer it. Do
First
not answer.
First of all, we got to get a bunch of people in San Diego to get, like, really well-paid offers, and then get them to reject them. That's our goal.
Or just make them take their whole production, their whole setup, their whole agency, put it all in San Diego.
Yeah, all right.
Do you feasibly think that there's a possibility?
For what?
Like a little bit of hope that you could create something like that in San Diego.
Something like Los Angeles? Something like Hollywood?
Like, if we controlled the TV scene and they controlled the film scene, like something where...
I don't think that's possible, but I do think that we could have... I think what's more realistic is having like a well curated kind of indie film scene, the way that... I think that's one of the San Diego's bigger problems and hurdles in having a legitimate indie film scene is the proximity to LA. I think that's what holds us back the most, is that we're too close.
Man.
Because a lot of the people that have that talent answer that knock, because it's just a couple hours away. So if you looked at, like, I think other cities that have similar size, like Austin or Seattle or Minneapolis or whatever, I think they're more likely to have, like, feature productions, indie film productions that are a little bit more substantial than ours right now, because everyone who takes it seriously is there. They're in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
So I hope that changes, and like I know a lot of great filmmakers that do live in San Diego, and hopefully.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of talented people in the communities.
Yeah, but it's like but the hard part is, I think, that nobody's really specialized, or there's not a lot of specialization. I think. So, in Los Angeles, if somebody asks you what you do, you tell them what you're doing at the moment. Like, you're an AD, or you're a second AD, or you're an AC, or you're a grip, or you're a DP, or you're whatever. Yeah. And, like, a lot of us here in San Diego, myself included,
run a lean crew.
I'm a filmmaker.
Yeah. You got all of them in one.
So, yeah. So it's like, so let's say we get some reason one of us gets a few $1 million to make one of these indie projects, like, we have a bunch of Swiss Army knives.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know, like
exactly.
running around doing what jobs, you know,
Yeah.
and it's just like there's not really infrastructure because we don't have the economy to support the infrastructure, I think. So it's a chicken egg kind of donkey punch.
Do you mean people wise we don't have the infrastructure? Like because of that very reason, the Swiss knife, the old Swiss cheese people.
Of lack of specialization, yeah. But we don't have the money to
We don't have the
support
money.
that.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't. It's not like. I think it probably starts at like the government level or the city level, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To like
Have a
tax
program or
cuts
something.
and programs and things. I think without that stuff, it's really hard to get a very serious kind of situation brewing. But
Would you rather be a Swiss Army knife though? Like, would you rather have all of the skills in your back pocket
well, no, I would rather be a writer director.
and then have a crew?
Yeah,
Yeah, I respect that.
yeah. I love editing and I like to DP and like I like just being on film sets in general.
It's honestly it's a lot. I'm trying to put it into words, but it's like when you're doing the one man show, it's way more time consuming and just so much effort is going into it that, like you're saying, if you were specialized, you wouldn't have to do that.
Yeah, you just focus, and everyone's focusing on the thing that they focus on.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm never gonna be like a really incredible editor if it's one of 5 things I'm trying to be.
Yeah.
You know.
That's true. But you're probably getting to edit more now than you would if you were just the writer and director.
Right, but I wouldn't have to. You know,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I'm saying. That's the chicken egg of the specialization.
Yeah.
You know? But
Having
yeah.
the skills but not wanting to.
Since we don't have the
to
budgets
have
here,
it.
we're
Yeah.
all like, oh, we'll do it ourselves.
Yeah.
Which is awesome, and I love the community that has came from that because like everybody supports each other. Everyone's really cool to work with. Everyone, like, nobody has really an attitude about being on set. We
Yeah.
all have a great time.
Yeah.
We go to each other's events. Like, that aspect of it
That's true. It's tight.
is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then the hard part is we don't have the money to put any, like, big
Something.
ideas into action right now.
Kickstarter or something. I don't know. Maybe.
GoFundMe.
Venture capitalists.
Venture capitalists.
If you're listening.
Yeah, if you're listening, venture capitalists.
I'm gonna shoot this to every venture capitalist I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is kind of what you're saying is like the competitiveness here with the film community isn't rooted in self. And like when I have been to LA, it always seems like those people like won't tell you who their agent is and they won't tell you who their manager is because they don't want you to have a shot at whatever they have.
Oh,
and like
wow.
this environment seems very like, oh heck yeah, you should do that, or here's my manager, here's my whatever, because
Okay.
I'm trying to, it's almost like you're pushing the whole community forward, and it's almost like, I don't want to say to beat LA, but to like prepare for LA, it seems like, but I don't know, maybe it's just a slower pace of San Diego that makes everybody more relaxed.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never lived up there. I've only had positive experiences with LA because I go up and I, hang out for a couple days.
Yeah.
And, go
Swing on that
to a
couch.
concert and see friends and then go leave.
I haven't had necessarily bad experiences. I just know that like I've asked like, who's your agent, just in casual, and they're just like straight up, not happening.
Nah.
Not giving you an
Didn't
inch.
even make up a name.
No, they wouldn't even make
To
up
be
a name.
kind.
Yeah, and people in San Diego I found to be more consistent in like their, what's the word? Like they're on time. They care about the project, and they're not just gonna like be flaky and blow stuff off, which I've somewhat found to be in Los Angeles.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But
Especially probably for non-union or unpaid things or whatever.
it's sloppy. It's just sloppy.
Yeah.
They don't run a tight ship.
It's just sloppy.
I like, you know what? I will say I really liked how I like the kind of the loose, one person does a lot of things type of crew, because it's not as, I don't know, seems more fun. It's not as tight, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. It's fun when it. A lot of things like the only way I would want to do it. Like the thing that we shot
Yeah.
It's like I wouldn't want to do that with more than 4 or 5 people because we did it 9 locations in one day,
Yeah.
right? So it's just so much more streamlined to do it tight like that. But there are some things where you need like a ton of extras and a lot of action and people to corral people and people to do makeup and costuming and stuff like that, and you just can't do it, with a small crew.
Yeah.
And those big production like value moments in films, I think do add a lot to the viewer's experience. When they know that you couldn't just do this in someone's basement or something.
Yeah, that's true. They value it a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's the impressive stuff that we're gonna give them.
Yeah, fake rain.
Yeah. Spraying a hose at me. I got so much adrenaline from that.
Yeah, it was cold.
Being nailed with cold water.
Yeah.
It's worth it. I'd do it again. No, we're going on to the lightning round.
All right.
Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
Lightning round. Start the clock. Tick, 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 tick. You have 60 seconds. Best bar in San Diego.
The Lion's Share.
Wow. Do you keep a diary of poems?
No.
What would be your best poem if you had a diary of poems?
Skip.
Did you coach a girls' basketball team?
Yes.
What was your record?
8-2.
It's pretty good. Where is your Dodge truck, Jolene?
Sold it to an old man who I hope is still alive.
Blessed. That was the lightning round. This is the final question of the podcast. Tyler, this podcast, even though I don't think I said it at all, is a life strategies podcast.
Is it what?
It's a life strategies podcast.
Life strategies. Okay.
To live a more fulfilling life. What's
okay.
the life strategy from this episode?
Oh my! You were asking me what you learned?
I'm asking what your.
Oh, what I learned.
No, I don't know.
Oh, I thought you said what's the life strategy that I learned?
No, what's the life strategy from this episode? What do you want people to take away?
Okay, got it. Got it. Oof. I don't want people to take away. Don't put so much pressure on yourself, bro.
Yeah.
And girls.
Bro and girls. I like it.
Yeah. I don't know. That's all I can think of. Yeah, because I think we're all Southern California in general. I think it's easy to have that like get to the top of the mountain mentality, but then the second you get to the top of that mountain, there's just another one and another one and another one. So like enjoying where you're at and the time. That's kind of like, I think it was Andy from The Office that has that sort of epic quote at the end. It's just like, man, wouldn't it be great if like you knew when you were in the good old days when you were in them?
Yeah.
You know? Nardog for life. So yeah.
That's true.
Just have been trying to slow down and that goes back to the scripts and the filing cabinet thing. It's just like no more mountains, just do the work and be in it.
Enjoy it. Yeah. I'm gonna piggyback. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say my life strategy is don't waste time, doing stuff you don't like. So keep doing stuff like that you do like,
Word.
Tyler, thank you for being on the podcast. Really appreciate it.
Getting close now.
Where can we find you on the internet?
Getting close. You can find Hanger B Studios at hangerbstudios.com. That's HANGAR. And futureloon.com would be another place that you can find me. Tyler.j.french on Insta.
Nice. Go follow him.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
What are you doing here still?
Stop listening.
This is Natali signing out.
This is TJ. Peace out. Bye. Boom.
Boop. I got that extra boop.